Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. We have about a minute to go before we get started. So I ask that we use this time to gather any supplies we feel we may need today for our session. All right. So I ask that we all find ourselves in a comfortable seated pose. I am going to start out in a half lotus. May you find any seat that feels good for you. As we ensure that our spinal cord is nice and long, we don't want to have our back sunken down, always straight. Allowing our shoulders to relax downward away from our ears. Maybe tucking our tummy in as we gaze our eyes down or close our eyes. Using the down gaze to help us relax and go inwards here today. As we breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. As we breathe our palms at heart center, coming into a seated prayer, ensuring that our shoulders are relaxed down. Breathe in. Exhale. Maybe we notice how the down gaze and the breath helps relax and soothe us here today. As we sit in silent meditation for 4 natural breaths. As we slowly breathe our palms above our head in our salute, reaching our palms upwards. Fingertips are reaching up towards the ceiling. Our spinal cords are nice and long, chin slightly up, feeling that stretch. Breathe in. Exhale, seated twist right side as we softly gaze over that right shoulder. Using this twist to relax and soothe the spinal cord. We're going to hold this pose 3 breaths. Two more breaths. Exhaling back to center, coming into a seated star. Our palms are off towards the side. Heart chakra is slightly up, chin is slightly up. Noticing how this feels. We are in our seated star. Breathe in. Exhale. As we lift our palms above our head in our salute. Breathe in. Exhale, seated twist, opposite side, gazing over that shoulder, relaxing the body, warming up our spinal cord. 3 breaths. Two more breaths. As we exhale back to center, coming back to our star, heart chakra's up, chin is slightly up. Breathing to our salute. Exhale to our prayer. Palms are at heart center. Maybe allowing our thumbs to touch our sternum. Eyes gaze down. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. 2 breaths. As we allow our palms to relax on the sides of our bodies. Our fingertips are touching the earth. Heart chakra's up, chin is up. Eyes are gazed down or closed as we use this moment to tap into our environment, noticing what is going on around us and being aware. And during this session, we may have distractions, we may hear noises, whatever it may be, may we only allow in what is soothing and beneficial for us at this moment. 2 breaths. Breathe in. Exhale. As we allow our bodies to lean towards the right, coming into a C-spine, allowing our left arm to reach over our head, feeling this side bend here. Allowing our shoulder to relax downward towards the earth. Our head relaxes down towards our shoulder, feeling that stretch. Eyes are gazed down and closed. 3 breaths. 2 more breaths. Exhale into center. Both palms are on the earth. Heart chakra's up, chin is slightly up. Breathe in. Exhale, side bend, opposite side. Allowing our bodies to lean towards the left. Our right arm goes over our head. Our head relaxes downward towards our shoulder. 3 breaths. 2 more breaths. As we exhale back to center, both palms are on the earth. As we breathe our palms back up in our salute, chin slightly up, gazing up at our fingers, noticing how this feels. Interlacing our fingertips together, allowing our arms to go towards the back as our chest, heart chakra comes forward, chin is slightly up, feeling this light back bend here. 3 breaths. 2 more breaths. Exhaling back to our salute. Our backs are nice and straight as we breathe down to our prayer. And we're going to flow into a bound position, coming into a butterfly or a diamond pose. Bounding our feet together. Noticing how this feels in the body. With our heart chakra up, we're going to come into a cow, a seated cow. Lifting our chin up, heart chakra comes up. Noticing how this feels in our body. It is a slight back bend. We're going to hold this cow for 2 breaths. Exhale into our cat. Our chin comes towards our clavicle. Our spinal cord goes to the back of the room. We're going to hold this 2 breaths. As we flow back to our cow. And maybe we can do a couple of cat-cow rotations to our natural breath. Two more breaths. As we find our pause at center, and just taking a moment if we choose to notice how this feels within our hips. This bound position here is a hip opener. Noticing that when we have our feet closer towards our bodies, we are in our butterfly, and it's kind of a deeper feel inside of our hips. However, we can bring our feet further away and coming into a diamond pose. So maybe playing around with the 2 to see how they feel within your body. 2 breaths. Simply being aware. And once we find our comfortable pose in our bound position, maybe we can hinge at the hips, coming into a butterfly or diamond forward fold, allowing our heart chakra to relax downward towards our feet with our eyes gazed down or closed. May we hang out here 5 natural breaths. Three more breaths. Two more breaths. As we come back to center, we are back in our butterfly or our diamond pose. Noticing how when we hinged our bodies at our hips, we went deeper into that pose, allowing us to open up our hips a little bit more. So if we ever have a client who have tight hips and they want to loosen up their bodies, we can always give them the option to go into that bound position. Then we are back in our butterfly or our diamond. May we extend our legs in front of us, coming into a staff pose. Our legs are parallel side by side. Our spinal cord is nice and long. Chin is slightly up. Heart chakra is open. Relaxing our bodies here. 2 breaths. As we breathe our palms above our head in our salute, reaching our fingertips up towards the ceiling, chin slightly up. 2 breaths. Exhaling down the prayer hands, allowing our thumbs to touch our sternum, shoulders relax down away from the ears. 2 breaths. As we hinge at our hips, coming into a seated forward fold, allowing our heart chakra to come downward towards our thighs. If you notice, this is a full body stretch here. Maybe we can reach down to the lower parts of our feet or our ankles, feeling that complete stretch. With our eyes gazed down, taking natural breaths, allowing the breath to help our torso come closer towards our thighs. We're going to hang out here 5 breaths. Three more breaths. As we slightly come up to a half forward fold. Noticing how that half feels in your body, heart chakra slightly up, noticing how this feels. As we breathe back up to our staff pose, hanging out here for a second, relaxing the body. As we take our right leg, lifting our right foot up in the air, our foot is flat on the earth, our knee is in the air, shall I say. As we flow into a sage marichi, starting on the right side, lifting our right arm up in the air, leaning our bodies towards the left, leaning forward, and taking this right arm and wrapping it around our leg, feeling this stretch. We are in our sage marichi here. We have our left leg forward. Keeping in mind that we can always bend that leg in if that feels good for us as well. Maybe playing around with it, seeing how it feels within the body with your left leg bent. And if you choose with your left leg bent or straight, maybe we can go a little deeper by taking this left hand and wrapping it around our backs, interlacing our fingers, noticing how that feels. Our heart chakra is up, our chin is up. Our leg can be bent or our leg can be straight. If our leg is straight, we can even hinge at our hips, allowing our torso to come towards that thigh. With our eyes closed or gaze down, may we hang out here in this sage marichi, 4 breaths. Two more breaths. As we uninterlace our fingers, if they were connected, we're going to straighten out that leg. We are back in our staff pose. As we hinge at our hips, coming into a forward fold, reaching down to the lower parts of our feet as much as we can, as we breathe our bodies downward towards our thighs. 3 breaths. As we exhale back up to center, coming back into our staff pose, and we're going to sage marichi opposite side, taking that left leg, lifting that left leg up, left foot is flat on the earth, knee is in the air. We're going to lift our left arm up in the air, leaning our bodies towards the right, coming forward and wrapping this left arm around this left leg. We are in our sage marichi opposite side. Heart chakras up, chin slightly up if that feels good for you. Keeping in mind that we can bend this leg inward if that feels good. Also having the option of taking this right hand and wrapping it around our backs, interlacing our fingers. Noticing how this feels in the body. We're going to hang out here 4 breaths. Two more breaths. As we slowly uninterlace those fingers, we're going to unwrap that leg. We're going to come back into our staff pose, hinging at the hips, reaching down towards our feet, feeling this full body stretch. Eyes closed or gaze down. 3 breaths. Exhale into our half forward fold, chin is slightly up, noticing how this feels. 2 breaths. As we exhale back to our staff pose, we're going to flip onto our hands and our knees, coming into our tabletop position, ensuring that our knees are hip distance apart. We are in our table as we drop our bodies down into our cow. Our tummies come downward towards the earth. Our chin is slightly up. Noticing how this feels. This is a slight back bend. As we flow into our cat, our chin comes towards our clavicle. Spinal cord goes up in the air. As we do a couple of cat cows to our natural breath. 2 more breaths. As we find our pause, finding our pause at center, we're gonna bring our right leg towards the back. Noticing how this feels. This is a balancing pose here. So we have our right leg towards the back. We are working on a sunbird pose here. And if this feels good, maybe we can extend that left arm forward. Now we are in our full sunbird. Our tummies are nice and tight, having control of our core as we are gazing forward, building strength. If we lose our balance, we can always lower our toes downward towards the floor. Noticing how each pose feels within the body. 3 more breaths. As we breathe our knee to our elbow, holding it in, feeling this tummy crunch. Back to bird. Knee to elbow. Back to bird. Knee to elbow. Back to bird, holding it 2 breaths. As we flow to our table and drop down to our cow, relaxing the body, chin slightly up. Flow into our cat. As we are back in our table, and we're going to sunbird opposite side, taking that left leg, bringing that left leg towards the back, noticing how that feels in the body. Tummy's nice and tight as we gaze forward. And once we have our balance, extending that front arm, that right arm forward, gazing forward, having control of our core, noticing how this feels. 4 breaths. Two more breaths. Keeping in mind that we can always lower our toes downward towards the earth if that feels good. 2 more breaths. As we breathe in, exhaling that knee to elbow, back to bird, feeling the flow here, knee to elbow, back to bird, knee to elbow, flowing back to bird, hanging out here, 2 more breaths. Exhale back to table as we drop down to our cow. Exhale into our cat, flowing back to our table, hanging out here just for a second. As we work on our thread and needle, starting on the right side if we choose, bringing that right arm out to the sides, feeling that stretch if we choose before we thread it through our left. Our heart chakra comes downward towards the earth. With our eyes closed or gaze down, allowing our shoulder blades to melt forward into the yoga mat. Allowing our bodies to completely relax here. And if we choose, maybe we can take that left arm and wrap it around our backs or extend it over our head. Whatever feels good for you. We're gonna hang out here 5 breaths. Three more breaths. As we slowly unwrap that arm, unthreading that needle, finding our bodies back in our table as we drop down to our cow. Exhale into our cat, flowing back to our table as we thread that needle opposite side, stretching that left arm up if we choose before we thread it through our right. Heart chakras coming down towards the earth with our eyes closed, shoulder blades melting forward. Allowing our bodies to completely relax here. And if we choose, maybe we can wrap our right arm around our backs if that feels good for us, or extend that arm over our head. We're gonna hang out here 4 more breaths. Two more breaths. As we slowly unwrap that arm, we're going to unthread that needle. We are back in our tabletop position here. As we push our bodies up to our down dog, gazing back at our feet. Maybe pushing our torso towards our thighs, feeling that nice deep stretch. Maybe walking our dog by pedaling our feet from side to side, noticing how this feels as we are building strength in our upper arms. Our core muscles are nice and tight. 3 more breaths. As we shift our bodies to a high plank or a low plank, whatever feels good for you, high or low, continuing to build strength here. 2 more breaths. As we come down to a low plank or a chaturanga, hovering over our yoga mat. Exhale into our cobra or baby cobra. Noticing how in our baby cobra, our elbows are slightly bent. This is our baby cobra. Noticing how when we are in our cobra, see that our elbows are straight. So that's the difference between a baby and a cobra. The baby cobra has bent elbows. The cobra has straight elbows. These both are slight back bends. So maybe taking a moment to notice how each feels within your body. 2 more breaths. As we breathe to an up dog, which is taking our thighs off the earth. See that there? So we come from that baby to that cobra to that up dog with our thighs off the earth. That is the difference between the 2 or the 3. In our up dog, our chin is slightly up, our heart chakra is open. 2 breaths. Exhale back, down dog, gazing at our feet. Maybe taking a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Noticing how that breath felt within the body. 2 more breaths. Coming back to our high plank, we are working our upper parts of our bodies. Tummy's nice and tight. As we flow down to our low plank or chaturanga, 2 breaths. Coming back to our cobra or our baby cobra to cobra. Breathe, up dog, chin slightly up, heart chakras open. 2 breaths. Exhale, down dog. As we flow to our dolphin, coming on to our forearms. We are on our forearms now. Our buttocks is high in the air. And maybe we can walk our feet closer towards our torso. As we are gazing back at our feet, noticing how our buttocks is even higher. This pose here prepares the mind and body for headstand. May we hang out here in our dolphin. 5 natural breaths. Three more breaths. As we drop down to our knees, coming into a wide-legged position, maybe coming into a wide-legged child's pose or a puppy pose. Maybe extending our palms in front of us if that feels good for us. With our eyes gazed down or closed. Using this pose to help relax and soothe and center. We're gonna hang out here, 6 natural breaths. Three more breaths. Two more breaths. With our arms extended in front of us, maybe we can do a couple of spinal waves by using our palms to push our torso forwards and using our palms to push our buttocks towards the heels of our feet. We are waving our bodies here, loosening and warming up our spinal cord. Maybe we can add our head, our neck into the rotation, noticing how that feels. allowing our complete body to feel relaxed and soothed. We can roll our head around in circles if that feels good for us. Maybe doing circle motions at our hips if the spinal waves isn't good for us. Simply having fun here in our spinal rotations here, noticing how it feels in your body. 4 more breaths. Two more breaths. As we flow back to our table, noticing how this feels, we're gonna stay in our wide-legged, and we're gonna bring our heart chakra downward towards the earth. And we're gonna extend our palms in front of us. Slightly gazing forward, we are in our puppy pose here. I just wanted to go over the difference between a puppy pose and a child's pose. So with our buttocks high in the air, heart chakra is downward towards the earth, our palms are extended in front of us. As we slightly gaze forward if we choose, this is our puppy pose. Noticing how this feels in the body. We're gonna hang out here for 2 more breaths. And if we was to flow into our child's pose, we're just gonna simply allow our buttocks to come back towards the heels of our feet, and maybe widen our legs a little bit if that feels good for us. That way our torso can relax between our thighs. Now we are in our child's pose, so we just flow from a puppy pose to a child's pose. Maybe taking note of the difference between the two and being aware of how both poses feels within the mind and body. We're gonna hang out here for 3 more breaths. With our palms extended in front of us, we're gonna spinal wave our bodies 2 times out of this position. And we are back into our tabletop, bringing our knees inward together as we push our bodies up to that down dog, gazing at our feet, pushing our torso towards our thighs, feeling that stretch nice and deep. As we come into a complete forward fold, bringing our hands towards our feet towards our hands, allowing our bodies to relax over our thighs. With our eyes closed or gaze down, maybe you'll be walking our feet slightly apart to keep our balance if that feels good for you. Taking nice deep breaths here in this pose. Noticing how this pose relaxes and soothes the mind and body. 3 more breaths. And if we choose, maybe we can flow into a ragdoll by hugging our elbows with our hands from side to side. And maybe we can even rock our bodies. Move our bodies from side to side. Noticing how that feels. You may feel it behind your legs and your hamstrings. This here is a full body stretch. We're gonna hang out here. 4 more breaths. Two more breaths. As we find our pause, coming into a half forward fold, noticing how this feels in our body. As we breathe back down to a forward fold, coming back to a half. As we flow to Tadasana, mountain pose, our palms are at our sides. Noticing how this feels in our bodies. With our shoulders relaxed downward away from our ears, our bodies are nice and long here. Chin is slightly up, heart chakra is slightly up, palms are at our side. Taking a moment to notice how we feel in this very moment as we are standing tall with our chin up, with our heart chakra open. 2 more breaths. As we breathe our palms above our head in our salute or our extended mountain. Noticing that when we are in our salute, our palms are together. When we're in our extended mountain, our palms are separated. 3 breaths. Taking in a nice deep breath. As we exhale to a standing crescent moon, right side, allowing our bodies to lean towards the right, feeling this side bend here. Heart chakra is slightly up, chin is slightly up. And maybe we can slightly gaze upwards at our left hand, noticing how that opens up our chest a little bit more. 3 more breaths. As we exhale back to center, crescent moon opposite side, allowing our bodies to lean towards the left. Noticing how this feels here in our spine. And if we choose, maybe we can slightly gaze up at our right hand. Noticing how that opens up our heart, our chest a little bit more. 3 breaths. Exhaling back to center, we are in our salute or our extended mountain. As we connect our hands together, interlacing our hands together, allowing our arms to flow towards the back. Our heart chakra comes forward. This is a slight back bend. 3 breaths. Exhaling back to center, we are in our salute or our extended mountain. As we breathe our palms at heart center, allowing our shoulders to relax downward away from our ears, maybe allowing our thumbs to touch our sternum. With our eyes gazed down and closed, may we hang out here for 2 breaths. As we breathe down to our chair pose, slightly bending our knees, our palms are at heart center. However, if we choose, we can extend our palms in front of us. Noticing how this feels within our bodies. We are working the lower parts of our bodies. 3 more breaths. Bringing our palms at heart center if they were extended in front of us. Allowing our bodies to twist towards the right, feeling this side twist here. 3 breaths. As we exhale to center, twisting our bodies opposite side. Exhaling back to center, we are in our chair pose. We're gonna keep on building strength in our legs, extending our arms in front of us, allowing most of the weight to come to the backs of our foot, the heels of our feet. Noticing how that feels in the body. 2 breaths. Exhale, complete forward fold, relaxing the body. Giving our knees a little break here. We're gonna hang out here 5 breaths. Maybe flowing into a ragdoll if that feels good for you. Exhaling to half forward fold. As we come to our Tadasana, we are back with our palms at our side. Bringing our palms at prayer hands, we are in our prayer position. As we yogi walk our feet slightly apart, we're gonna come on down to a Manasana, a yogi squat. With our palms at heart center, maybe we can make our hands into a fist if we choose, and we're gonna come down to a yogi squat. Simply just working the lower parts of our bodies, working the lower parts of our legs here. We are in our yogi squat. Noticing how this feels within the body. And you guys know how we do the goddess when we be pulsing up and down. We can do the same thing here in our yogi squat. We can pulse up and down if that feels good for us. Or we can simply just hang out here in our yogi squat, whatever feels good for you. Just want to build a little bit of strength here in the lower parts of our body. So if we're squatting, we're going to do a couple more of these. Couple pulses, 2 more. Just working our legs. We're going to do a bonus, 2 more. As we find our pulse coming down into that yogi squat, relaxing the body here. With our palms at heart center, using this moment to relax and soothe. Taking in nice, deep, intentional breaths, and exhaling through the mouth. Allowing the breath to regulate our heartbeat, to relax and soothe the mind and body. 4 more breaths. 2 more breaths. And before we come out of this yogi squat, maybe we can yogi walk our feet together. The heels of our feet are connecting. We're gonna come into a frog pose. Noticing how this feels. We are still building strength here in our lower parts of our bodies. This time our heels of our feet are connected and we are in a frog. Maybe bringing our palms at heart center if that feels good for you, as we are gazing forward. We're gonna hang out here 4 more breaths. Feeling our body's balance here and build strength. 2 more breaths. We're gonna do a bonus, 2 more breaths. As we flow out, coming onto our buttocks, straightening our legs, coming into that staff pose, hinging at our hips, coming into a complete seated forward fold. Noticing how this relaxes and soothes the mind and body. With our eyes closed, taking natural breaths here. Four more breaths. Two more breaths. As we breathe to a half forward fold, coming up to that staff pose. As we cross our feet, maybe taking our right leg and bringing it underneath our left. Taking our left leg and bringing it over top of our right. We are in our cow face. Hanging out here in our cow face just for a second. As we bring our palms at heart center, gazing our eyes down. Our core is nice and tight. Our spinal cord is nice and long. Our shoulders are relaxed down away from our ears. Our chin is relaxed. Our facial muscles are relaxed. Our forehead is relaxed. As we breathe in through your nose, exhale through the mouth. Maybe noticing how that breath and the down gaze relaxed and soothed. We're gonna hang out here 4 breaths, silent meditation. As we find ourselves opening up our eyes and relaxing our bodies. Thank you guys for allowing me to practice that training with you guys here today. But it is now 7:39 and it is now time for Sally to practice her pranayama breathing with us. So if we can all just say hello to Sally and welcome her today. She's going to bless us with her special gifts. So thank you so much, Sally, and it's all yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.